sister, a brother, father, a mother, a wife or a husband, a nephew, a cousin. They're looking for a little bit of love, hey. Somebody show them some love, hey. Why not you?
Why not?
Hey.
Why not? Why not?
Why not you?
Why not? Why not?
Why not you?
This is the Why Not crew, and all we asking is why not you? Come with the Why Not you. And on this occasion, give one donation, and you may not receive a standing ovation. Nah, your reward is so much better than that. No metal or plaque can replace the feeling of giving a second chance in life. The only second chance's price is your commitment. Man, it's your compassion. You can come and give it, there's no special form of fashion. Giving a child another chance to smile, just imagine. Or you can try not to.
Welcome, world, to the Why Not Inspire show, where we inspire individuals to overcome their adversity and obstacles to bring their goals and dreams to fruition. Our show is brought to you by the Why Not Foundation, whose mission is to provide support to pediatric transplant patients, and also to promote disease prevention and wellness in the community. I'm your host and moderator, Edward Mr. Why Not Drake. I'm a former student athlete turned kidney transplant recipient, and now the founder of the Why Not Foundation and a community investor. I now would like to introduce you to my fellow co-host, Mr. Nathan Hart. Please tell the world about you, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nathan Hart. I'm a current senior in high school. I'm 18 years old. I'm a 16-year kidney transplant recipient. I got my kidney when I was 2 years old from my great mom. And after I graduate high school, I look forward to studying something in sports management/sports business. Thank you once again, Ed, for having me.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you again. Now, Mr. Anthony, the man McPhee, please tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Anthony McPhee. I am a college student. I attend Ashland University. I'm majoring in musical theater and business administration. I plan to do acting, hopefully in television, to eventually lead up to directing and owning my own production company.
Awesome. Thank you, Anthony. And owning your own production company will happen in the future. Keep on dreaming, buddy. And we're so awesome. We're so excited to have you here today. We have got a special guest. When I call this man, the myth, the legend, I truly mean that. This man inspired me when I was a young entrepreneur, just getting this organization up and running around Columbus, Ohio. I met him at some type of business forum, and he was very kind with his time. At that time, I didn't know who he was, but after doing my research and knew how accomplished he was very kind with his time, took me under his wing, and still so many years later, whenever I need advice, I'm able to reach out to him. So when I say we have a special guest, I truly mean we have a special guest. Now, without further ado, Anthony, introduce the man, the myth, the legend.
He is a graduate of The Ohio State University. He is the founder and CEO at Cunix Enterprises, owner at the Toy Barn, and car enthusiast. Here is Shawn Cunix.
Thank you.
Welcome, Shawn. How are you feeling today?
Fantastic. I feel honored to be part of this, and I very much appreciate the warm welcome.
Thank you. Like I said, we're truly humbled to have you on today. Anthony, start off with the first question.
Okay, so the first question we like to ask all our guests is, how did you get inspired to be on the path you are on today?
It's interesting. I like that question because I've realized for the middle part of my life and growing up, the younger to the middle part, I was angry about my surroundings and what I had to deal with. As I got more mature and saw my ability to have an effect on people, I'd realized that I wouldn't be in the spot I'm in if it wasn't for going through some traumatic events in my life. So most of my path has been about inspiring people and trying to create a happiness around me and others in just about everything I do. Hence, I also own the web domain inspirehappiness.com, And I am working very hard to get a reality show over that topic. So
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Can you tell us a little more about Inspire Happiness before Nathan asks the next question? Because I love the name Inspire Happiness. Two amazing words put together. But yeah, tell us more about where did that whole vision or
I'm
idea?
happy to talk about it. It actually means a lot to me. 20 years ago, 15, 20, maybe it's 15 years ago, but I went in a room and I invited for a 2-day workshop, basically to invite family, friends, and my top executives within my company. And the whole goal was to come up with my core values and my mission statement. And after 2 days, that was accomplished. Well, the significance to me was I really walked around with such a big hole in my heart due to my upbringing and the battles I had to conquer. And the greatest thing was coming up with the Inspire Happiness and the core values at the end. And I will go over the core values in a second, but at the end, everyone's dismissed. I'm thrilled. And it wasn't even on the docket. We were about to walk out, and then each one of about 25 people stood up and said how much I had already changed their life. I was overcome with emotion, fell to the ground. It was because I went around saying, I can't wait until I can inspire and make a difference in people's lives. And just somehow, by the grace of God, it just one after another, each stood up, and it wasn't even part of the agenda. And it's, man, is it an amazing memory, and it filled up a chunk of that hole in my heart and made me realize what God had planned for me.
Oh, that's awesome. Like saying, Inspire Happiness.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Getting into the core values, for me, most people would easily ring in with these, but it's passion, integrity, empowerment, community, and family. And that's everything that I think about in all my choices. I'm truly in love with people to a high degree. Can't stand to see anybody suffering, and I would go out of my way to help anyone I possibly can within reason.
That's awesome. Where did go Nathan? Can you please ask your question, but first deliver the quote of the day, which we made.
Yeah, so the quote of the day is from legendary basketball player Kobe Bryant. Life is too short to get bogged down and be discouraged. You have to keep moving. You have to keep moving. I picked this quote today because life is full of challenges and setbacks, but you have to keep moving and improving because the next day comes just as quick as the last one happened. So that's why I picked today's quote. My question is, who was like your role model to help you want to inspire other people and change other people's lives from someone that changed yours?
I think most of the purpose and reason behind it, candidly, is God. And I know that's an answer that seems evading of trying to pick a human. On a business front, though, which enabled me to be able to help people financially, my uncle was a great mentor. He was a self-made millionaire, and I got to be around him and see him. When you're young, you look at more materialistic things than the ultimate bigger picture and your purpose in life. But I got to be around him and see, he's driving a Lexus. He works when he wants. And one of the other things that I don't know why it just always stuck in my head is middle of the afternoon, I'm there in his office messing around with my own stuff, whatever. And he just decides he's going to take a nap. And he did it frequently and had a big saltwater fish tank. And he'd just lay down and take a nap in the middle of the afternoon. And I really looked at that as, my God, look at the freedom. So the materials have been nice, but this man does what he wants, and he only goes to work when he decides to. So true entrepreneur, that's really what they all want. But not to segue too much, most people end up buying themselves a job. But I want to keep on with on task here on what we want to discuss in order. So did that help some? The next phase, back to that, without the person, like I was saying, I found God early on, which gave me the strength to be where I'm at. And it's another topic in itself, where after becoming successful, I forgot God for a while, or putting to the side, I should say. And I'm very proud to say I've met some incredible people since I moved to Florida, and I've recommitted my life to God.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Nathan, did you want to add on to that? That's awesome, though. You're muted. You're muted.
I just want to say that was really awesome and inspiring so far. I'll pass the mic on to Anthony.
Okay. Well, yeah, just to reiterate what Nathan said, yeah, a lot of your stuff has like really been impactful, and I really enjoy listening to you so far. How did your degree help you with what you do today, and how have your skills have evolved over time?
I'm a candid person. Some people don't like that, but I just say whatever's on my mind and what the truth is. As I reflect back and I think about college, and I look at the people I mentor now, which is still hundreds to thousands of people, really, which on a side note, to say, I do have over 10 people per week that reach out and say I have changed their life. And I thank God for that. And I know that that's a gift that God has given me. I can sense when people have an issue. But when I go back to the degree, the material isn't what got me here. What it is it forced me to have to think in situations without being able to look for an easy answer. And when I look at people now for college, honestly, my personal opinion is that college should be cut down to 2 years instead of 4. But because 2 years is remedial and wasting money and time, in my opinion. But we still have to play the game. But if you're not going to specialize, the next reason I say to go to college is too many young people have not been forced into thinking for themselves. So meaning you go find me an answer to this, they're in their hands are in the air, and it drives me crazy. Which we are, the younger generation is very fortunate. Google actually has an incredible wealth of knowledge. You'll get any answer almost that you need out of there. But I can tell from mentoring people, because I take several and let them stay with me for several days, and they can barely tie their shoes. And maybe it's because their parents did that, whatever, raised them that way. But the college part really forced me to be organized and keep a schedule. And I worked full time through college too. But it forced me that I could, the answers were something I was going to have to find a way to get to them. And I didn't have to do that so much, obviously, in grade school or high school. So what other part? So as I mentioned that, I go back to when many people say, should I go to college? Well, just a 4-year degree by itself, the real only advantage in that, beyond the obvious of what I just stated, if you're already an organized, put together person with great people skills, sales ability everyone needs, because you're always selling yourself, that, then college might not be for you. It's not for everyone. Because if you just get a 4-year degree, you're still up against many people that have that. It really comes down to your ability to attract people and have relationships. And, unless you're going to specialize, I'm 50-50 on the degree until I understand more about you as a person. That's my opinion. Doesn't mean that it's the only opinion.
That's facts. I wish we had like a big old bomb. I say it every show, but our budget at some point gonna get big enough to drop bombs, because you dropping them, Shawn. You dropping knowledge. Yes. So thank you for being so candid and honest, because I feel the same way. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate you for that. Anthony, did you have anything else to add on to that?
Yeah, I totally agree. When I made my decision to go to college, it wasn't like an easy decision, because I knew the whole it was like the pros and cons type of thing. Because there's so many options to be successful nowadays, that college is like, I guess, not as needed as before. But I was like, for me, I was like, I meet people, I get to network and get all the resources when I graduate and walk on that podium, I will have a good set of skills that I got to enhance while in college, because I also have like 2 jobs
Yes.
while doing like 2 majors. So yeah.
Mhm.
You know what? And I'd like to circle back from what you said, as I sit here and think about it, anything that you touch, if you put passion into it and you really work the plan and system with it, you can make something out of it and gain. And it sounds like you are, and that's okay. But if you're just gone to get the piece of paper, it's not worth the money. And that's what I guess I'd say. For me, at my time, when I'm in it, I'm a lot older. I'll be 50 years old in February. When I went to college, it helped you get to the top of the stack of resumes. It doesn't work that way as much anymore. They want experience just as much, if not more, than the 4-year degree. But if you go there and you look for opportunities, which my book is called Position to Be Lucky. It's not out yet, but if you are constantly on alert and you make the most of it, then I'm sure you'll get the value out of it.
Yes.
No, awesome. Shawn, I thought we were the same age, man. You look amazing. So
Thank you.
So happy early birthday, and cheers. But I have a 2-part question. The first part is, when I heard your story back as a young man, and I was in my early 20s, and I never knew people who own businesses and stuff like that. But I also heard you came from humble beginnings, which hopefully you can expound on, but you came from humble beginnings, and I never knew people who, outside of athletics and entertainment, I never knew people who were still able to, I would see you riding around in Ferraris and everything else. And I remember you told me, like, oh, I'll bring you out to my house to let you look at my, and I'm like, whoa. I'm like, what area you live in? And I'm like, stuff like that. And I was just so inspired, because like I said, I'm like, man, somebody who was working at or owned Verizon stores could actually have all this stuff that I've seen entertainers on TV. So you inspired me. But can you first talk about your what it was like to come from humble beginnings, and once you overcame those humble beginnings, what was it like getting accustomed to I won't say rags to riches, but kind of in that type of formality, should I say? Yeah,
Rags to Riches is a good song if you didn't know.
I gotta check it out.
It is an interesting switch. You see people that go broke, obviously, that hit the lottery and all that. The biggest thing you have to be careful is not to forget who you are and what you are to people. I'm very proud to say I've made mistakes at times in my life where I've been arrogant. And I'm not one to hurt somebody. It was at a time where probably I was feeling insecure and needed more patting on the back, whatever. And, but the biggest issue is trying to still give your time to people and everything and not think you're above people. I'm reflecting as I answer the question, because my growth, it was slow for a while. And then I even remember my wife and I talking about that we were now making $1 million a year, and we were giddy as could be. And, and like, in all due respect, $1 million a year is not interesting to me anymore, but I've paid a price for that. What else can I expand on there? I will say, I mentioned I had an issue more of after I became to the ultimate level of success, and I built a $5.5 million home in Ohio. I can be blunt with you and say, and this is a very vulnerable statement, I laid in bed. I had known that I wasn't working the relationship with God that I had when I was younger. And I laid in bed and actually prayed to God and said, I know you're going to have to humble me. Just please let me come out of it. Don't let it hurt so bad. And unfortunately, next Friday, I will be getting a divorce after 28 years. And it's extremely painful. But I'll be okay because I have God on my side. But that was humbling. And my kids have been angry about it. And they're not been in my life for the last 20 months. It's beyond words, anything I could say. I know everyone knows how much I love my family. And obviously this wasn't necessarily meant to be this type of setting for me to share that, but I'm an open book, open heart. Anything I can do to help somebody, I will do. And the money definitely played into that. And I'm sure my wife would say the same thing. And we ended up not connecting as much. And God wasn't the center of our marriage. And we spent too much time shopping and spending money on material things. And I'm proud that I can be as vulnerable as can be, because all I want to do is save other people. And I know I'm meant to do that.
And we thank you for opening up, because like, as you can see, we all own this podcast, and people who you will meet who's a part of our family helped put the show together. We're all vulnerable. Like, we started this show because of our vulnerability and things that we've gone through, and are going through. So for you to be able to share that, like I said, we truly appreciate that. But I want to ask, so we know you're going to overcome this, and what do you plan to, I guess, what do you plan to take out of this? And can you answer the question that a lot of us, without those type of resources, have? Does money bring happiness? Does it truly bring happiness?
No, and that's part of it can in certain ways, but I can say I gave away millions of dollars already in my life, and all the people I gave it to, majority of them did me wrong, and it did not make them happy. And it led me to a level of depression for a while. Yeah, I set out to think that by buying many people peace of mind, by buying them houses and cars, that it would give them happiness, not because of necessarily the material item, but the relief of stress. Because it's not like I bought them all Ferraris, but I took care of transportation in house, and I did it at a decent level. But I can say almost none of them ended up happy, unfortunately.
And my last question before I pass it over to Anthony. So what would you say to youth out there who's chasing, like I said, chasing the money? What would you tell them more so to focus on versus the money?
That's very easy.
Once they do get it, yeah.
I already know. I've learned it already. If you wake up every day and you want to create real value in people's lives, your friends, your family, co-workers, anything, and you don't think about the money, you'll have everything in life you've ever wanted. And I mean, that's a severe thing. I can tell you, I've seen enough. I've mentored thousands of people. Too many people wake up and only think about themselves.
Bombs dropping, boom. Like I said, we truly appreciate that transparency. It's gonna save someone's life and gonna direct somebody down the right path. Because I never heard that. I used to be one that chased money until my health situation. But Anthony, have at it. The next question.
Well, that is great to hear. I've kind of transitioned from that mindset myself, from wanting to chase after money to just having a comfortable living. Like, as much as it would be nice to be a millionaire, I don't need to be one. I just want to be like as comfortable.
Well, let me tell you something. There's a book called The Richest Man in Town. It's not the Babylon book, whatever. It's called The Richest Man in Town. And what they did is they interviewed two practical billionaires, basically, from just about every state in the country. What they were searching for is a commonality of what it took and how they did it. And almost every one of them, and the theme in the book, they set out to make a difference, and they set out to solve a problem, and then they became a billionaire. So it's interesting. If you only think about money every day, it won't do that well. And then I'll throw another book out there, with the Simon Sinek book, Start With Why. You have to wake up with a bigger purpose other than yourself. Everyone's got the Maslow hierarchy where we got to eat and have shelter and all that. The biggest phase of it is what truly are you living for? And I can say for a lot of my life, I've lived it for other people.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm trying to do that every day for my life, because we, as kidney patients, We all have our stories like you're sharing with us. So we're all trying to, I guess, inspire with like the show, and of course, but like with our own lives, because we've been through a lot, and a lot of people, we educate a lot of people on how we live and take care of ourselves, because we have to take care of ourselves in a different way. But I do want to transition to my question. In your opinion, what attributes does it take to build and run a business?
One is patience, of course. I don't have a lot of that, but I've learned to have it. And especially like in a business like the car business too, it's not like you just start multiplying locations. It was much easier to multiply locations in the Verizon business. The barrier to entry was a lot less in the cost, but also being humble, being willing to listen to people that have already done it before you. And I am generally one to not do a ton of that because I like to be a disruptor. And I have done that in the Verizon business, and I've already created an algorithm in the car business that nobody else is doing like it. Um, what else here? Being able to, and I mentioned this earlier, connect with people in a genuine manner, because it can't be faked. People come, they can feel it. One of the things I'm told many times over is that I'm infectious and magnetic. People want to be around me and figure out what I'm doing and just be part of it. But I live my life like I'm going to hit the lottery every day. And, you know, you should also in the business sector, mind your financials, mind your business. It's critical, because I can tell you right now, so many business owners really don't know what they're truly making, and they discount their own time. You can tell me you make 100,000 a year and you own your own business, but if you're working 60 hours a week, you're not making 100,000 a year, because you could have made it somewhere else and let somebody else do that. And I'm very good at mentoring somebody on that thought process too. I would recommend, and I'm throwing out top books of a lifetime, but E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. And it really teaches you on how to know the difference between working in the business or working on the business. And back to the other statement, if you create real value within your business for your employees and everybody gets a victory and gets a win, you'll do very well. And you just got to involve everyone and make them feel like owners.
I love it. Anthony, you want to add anything to it? You're muted.
Yeah, yeah, I know that also being like a business owner and talking to people like has like a lot to do with like leadership qualities. And I know that me and Edward had to talk about this, but but I want to get your opinion, like for our viewers and stuff. Like, what do you think? What did you do to grow into the leader that you are today, and what advice would you give? Because leadership is a big thing to have, and it's very versatile within whatever field you're going into, or in just in life in general.
The leadership part, I did it definitely an unorthodox way. I can truly say, and I would recommend not to do it this way, but I really didn't read any books on leadership. I just knew that if I involved everyone and showed them the true me and shared everything with them, empowerment is one of my core values. And I can tell you within the business, empowerment doesn't just mean that I let an employee make a financial decision. Empowerment is also part of education, meaning if I'm asking you when you're running one of my locations, like in Verizon, to make decisions financially, if I don't teach you the operating income expense and spreading it over stores and what it costs, it doesn't help you nearly as much. And it also, you don't have as much trust in what I'm saying. You just assume that I'm making every dollar that comes in the door. If anyone sees this that worked with me in the Verizon business, the one unique thing I did versus very few in the world would do is 350 people I made it open and public about how much money I was making per store, all of it. It's very unorthodox for a business owner to do it. I still do it at Toy Barn because I make sure they understand the difference of what the expense line is, what it takes to grow, and the fact that the government wants 40 some percent. And most people don't understand that, no financial literacy. And I continue to say how important that is. And to young people, and I just have to go into this and thinking of another nugget is, man, they don't teach enough about compounding interest. They don't let you know that anyone can be a millionaire, even if they work at Walmart. It's already happened. All they have to do is understand how to go about it. You pay yourself first, then you figure out if you have enough money to go to Starbucks. And I learned that very early on. I saved the most money that I could, and I was always in a position to be lucky. I left home as a teenager. I had thousands of dollars in the bank. And when I quit my job making $170,000 a year in the Verizon business, which it started out Cellular One, then AirTouch, then Verizon, I had $250,000 in the bank. I didn't just go in, quit my job, and not know how I was going to eat tomorrow. I prepared for it. And that preparation and not have, so going back to the business, even, you have to have a plan. You can't just go back, and it's not even fair to go back and say, I'm going to quit tomorrow and I know God's going to take care of me. That's not realistic. It's not fair to you, God, your family,
I love it, Shawn. We can sit here and listen to you all night. Seriously, like I said, and please, like I said, we're, because of our show, we got questions, but for you, whatever you want, like, even if we don't ask the question, please, like I said, because you've truly been a blessing to me. I wouldn't be where I'm at. I wouldn't have Why Not Me Enterprises without you looking at someone like you who can own businesses saying, why not me? So Nathan, please have at it with the next few questions. And then, yeah, we're near the end. We got to do a part 2, but Nathan.
I don't mind doing a part 2. I want to also tell you, you'd be shocked. You touched me by being on your show and your words. You saw me get choked up earlier. I'm very proud of you, Edward. You take your time and you do it and you give to people. And I look to continue to be inspired. It's been a rough time for me going through some of the personal things I have. And I've really continued to grow with God. Being on your show, you did me a big favor. I want to thank you for that. I know you're thanking me, but you've done more than that for me. You have no idea.
Thank you. And like these knowledge that you've shared, and Nathan, you can have at it. But like even meet me as a single man being married, and your willingness to even talk with me and my wife about investing and taking our resources and trying to grow it. So yeah, Nathan, go ahead. We can be on these kind words back at each other, because I appreciate you so much.
With like the influx of TikTok and other social media aspects, and like the millionaires and like the all the stuff, the lavish lifestyles and the quickly sums of money people are allegedly making, what is your advice? What is your, like, I guess, hard-hitting truth to the kids on TikTok or on Instagram, on social media, that see all this and think that, one, it's easy, and two, it's, money is, the root of all happiness? What would you, as someone who's been there, have to say to give a truth, maybe even harsh, of what it really is and how it can be humbling at times?
Well, money isn't going to buy them happiness. I know it firsthand with many, many people I spread that millions of dollars to. I gave. You have to find happiness within. And in my own opinion, because I understand the culture and everything we deal with being able to say this, but if you choose to have God in your life, it does come at a faster and easier rate. I'll say that, having faith. Paying yourself first, which I mentioned earlier. How would I go about that? Well, as a young person, I would take my job money and at least put 10% back. But the next phase of that is any job you work that has a 401 that you can be qualified in, you should be doing it to the max, especially before and then this goes with this, don't take on that much debt. Try to have as little as you can, because the more debt you have, the less money you get to pay yourself. And it's either pay now or pay later. And if you want to be one of these people at 60 and 70 years old, happen to work like most of our families are, then go ahead and keep blowing all the money. It's critical to start saving, because even if you lose a job, something bad happens. That's about putting yourself in a position to be lucky. And so the 401k, maxing it, and most companies do a few percentage point match. So if you actually did the math on it, with the discount you save from taxes, it's somewhere around 250% return immediately. And it's sad that people don't understand it. I very rarely find somebody that does. We could save some of that for part two, but there's a quick way to get rich still, what I call quick. But it doesn't happen overnight. And if it was that easy, everyone would be filthy rich. Most people aren't willing to pay the price. They're not willing to listen. And it comes with some hard work, but it's also not impossible. And that's where I point that out. If you start as young as you can, you realize how fast your money can double. And as a quick rule of thumb, most people don't know what the rule of 72 is. And if you take what rate of return you're getting and you divide it into 72, that's how often your money flips. So that's a crazy nugget there, because you can sit back and realize just how rich you'll be. And that's without adding anything to it. And I'm guessing a couple of you, if not all of you, haven't really thought of that before. So I'm hoping that helped. So again, if you look at, and you said that I'm going to make 9% a year, which is just about what the historical average of the stock market's been for many, many years. That means your money would double every 8 years with you adding no more to it. If you're adding along the way, you will quickly realize why a McDonald's job can make you a millionaire. It's just a matter of what you want to put back. And the more debt you have, the more interest you pay, and the more leverage and time it takes to get there. So I hope that that's helpful. It doesn't mean anybody's going to listen, but I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, have at it, Nathan. Like I said, I can talk all day, but go ahead.
I should have started this whole thing with give me the microphone so I can bust like a bubble. No.
You got the microphone. Hey, I know we've done a lot of shows, and I see everyone taking notes, and seriously, like we gotta do a part two. Go ahead, Nathan.
I think as someone that's kind of just starting to get into the job aspect, starting to save and invest, not only is it, it's so important, it's almost life-saving what you've shared today. It's really, it's inspiring, and it's really, it's life-changing advice, and it is true advice.
I have a couple more major things I have to get out there.
Please do.
The top book of my life besides the Bible is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It teaches you how to interact with anybody and everybody in your life, because there is such a powerful way of me asking you for something in two different ways, and the way you will react. I can tell you many people read the book at least 2 times a year. That's a top thing you have to know. And I lost my train of thought on the second one.
You told me about the book, and we bought it, so thank you.
Good.
I also have a copy.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. If it
I
comes,
will be getting that.
Go ahead. If it comes to me, the other one, then I'll say it. I blanked for a second. I was so into that book because it's so powerful. Oh, I know what it is. Sorry. The other one I see with meeting young people, especially. If you don't start at an early age of applying yourself, even in situations that you think are meaningless. So meaning, even if I'm working at McDonald's, whatever the job is, I'm going above and beyond. I don't want to be average. You don't just turn this on very quickly when you graduate college or go to college or anything. And the problem is too many people get stuck in a rut of doing the very least to get by. What I will tell you is, when I had jobs at 16, I was the top immediately. Other employees even got pissed because I made them look bad. And what do I mean by that? I worked at Herman Sporting Goods back in the day, and I learned on how to size people for shoes, which ones they should wear based on whether they pronated, supinated. I organized the shelves better than everyone else. No kidding. I took a lot of pride in everything. I knew I wanted more, even if nothing was going to be paid more or really recognized. I was training myself to not be average and to provide real value for the customers. I was fortunate that the company had given me a job. And again, most people just don't think that way. And they also sit back and think, especially for businesses that are not massive, they think that the owner is sitting there making every dollar that comes in the door. And it's because they don't understand the expenses to run a business and the stress of it.
Preach.
So
Preach.
you have to start applying. You're not just going to snap it off at 30 or 25 and say, okay, it's time to apply myself hard now. You have to start training yourself to push yourself to not be average.
Shawn, and before we have a segment called Family Time segment, but before we go into that, I want you to elaborate. I talk to so many people, and these days with the internet, with the with the with the YouTube, everybody think they can do everything. And can you please explain to people that the sacrifices that it really take, and it's easy to start something, but to keep something going and keep it growing. And I have a lot of people always coming up to me like where you should be or what you should have done. And I'm like, sometimes it just don't work like that. I mean, you go into it with these plans, but I always say that you never should. I had to learn because I was disappointed in myself over the years. I'm like where I should be at versus embracing on where I am and knowing everything happened for a reason. Sometimes it takes a while to realize that. But what would you say to the people that feel like, man, you or I or we should be at this other place? And sometimes life is, life just don't happen that way. But yeah, if you can kind of elaborate on that, talk to the people.
Yeah. Well, I go back to what I said. You should definitely have a plan, and this is another part though. You should have milestones so you don't fool yourself. I see many business owners keep on going until they lose everything because they don't want to let go of it. There is a time when you look yourself in the mirror and have a brutal reality with yourself and say, this isn't for me. And it's not giving up as much as it is creating, putting yourself in a spot so you don't run yourself right into the ground, not just financially, but emotionally. It's tough if you keep getting beat up with no victory. So you have to hold yourself accountable and measure it. If you don't, you may not know when to throw in the towel. And then have a fallback, have a backup plan. Don't let yourself get in a spot because most of the things that cause somebody stress in life and or depression and or losing their marriage is all centered around money. And again, not money isn't, if it's thought of as a tool for peace and to take care of yourself, and then it's okay. The materials are a bonus, but the real root of it in making the money should be to relieve stress and give you experiences in life. And I can truly say the majority of the money I have spent, and I have spent way more than I should have, but it was all majority of it for experiences, not on physical items.
Awesome.
And,
Yeah. No.
The cars, having the dealership, obviously, I don't lose money driving my cars, very minimal. And if I do, I make so much on another one. I'm way ahead of the game there. And so my expenses are minimal right now. I wear Lululemon, and the only thing I really spend money on is just like Rick Ross, you ain't know $1,000 pair of shoes. You ain't know.
Shawn, I gotta ask you this on a fun note before, like I said, I'll pass it over to our team members for family time. But what is your most wildest, craziest, funnest, happiest purchase? Rather, even if it was a bad investment, what was the greatest bad purchase? What when you first got that money, got some real money? What did you buy? What was it?
Probably the top thing I remember is after I sold my Verizon business, I walked in and bought a Richard Mille on the spot, and it's 120,000 or whatever, and it meant a lot to me.
You gotta explain what that is. We don't know. We don't know what that is. Is that a car? Is that a?
Oh, okay. It's a watch that cost 120, and now they go for 300,000 each. The ones, and I was able to buy several, but the first one I bought was special because it was. I've never paid that kind of money for something. For cars, I knew that, even then I didn't have anything that crazy, but I knew that they were worth majority of their value, the kind of ones I was driving. But to go and spend that on a wristwatch, I don't know, it just really hit me. And it was a very emotional time and a proud moment.
Wow. Okay. And last,
especially to walk right in and say, I'll take it.
You got it on right now?
No, I got a different one on. It's a Bell and Ross skull.
Yeah, that's not, I can't pronounce either. That's very nice. And my last question, what was your favorite car? And then go ahead. Get ready to come on camera, guys.
My favorite car of my life. I've got several outside right now. I live in Tampa now. I have a Ferrari GTS that goes for 730,000. I have a Ferrari SF90 That goes for $750, $770. I've got a Rolls-Royce Cullinan that's kind of like a shark gray over bright royal blue. And I have a Performante Spider in like an electric blue color. And the favorite cars in my life, that Ferrari GTS is number one. Number two would be the Performante Spider that I have out there. And ironically, a year and a half ago, I had the same two cars in different colors. And so I ended up buying them again. And the SF90 I just bought, it gets delivered Saturday morning.
That's awesome. Can't wait to come to Tampa. Can't wait to come to Tampa to hang out with you.
Welcome anytime.
Thank you. See, this show, we talked about all the serious stuff in the business, but still, why not dream big? Because those things are awesome. But yeah, welcome to our family time section. Like I said, teamwork makes the dream work. So you know, it takes a village to put the show together. So we would like to introduce you to our producer, Miss Lily, does everything behind the scenes. So Lily, if you have any questions for Mr. Cunix, please have at it.
Yeah, first of all, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing all that you did. It's very inspiring to me to see people who are inspiring everyone to take care of their financial health, as well as like how passionate you are to inspire people and how passionate you are about your family. It's very admirable for me to see that. So I appreciate that. And then I was wondering, I don't know what it takes to start a reality TV show, but for you, what has been the most exciting piece of like kind of getting started with Inspire Happiness?
My goal is to be able to touch people at a faster rate. Mentoring people I've done, but I'm repeating myself one person at a time often. And I want to be more efficient with my time and be able to help more people because I know I'm capable and that's what God has planned for me. So the thought of the reality show is interesting to me. I've got a lot of avenues I can go. My producer at this point is the guy that finished the Trump story on Netflix. He's was the first person they allowed in the house at an individual level. We've been actively working, and ironically, he's not as far along as I want him to be, but through him, it has led me back to God. And so I'm very grateful for that. He was introducing me to a couple guys, and they came there thinking they were going to do business, and that something told them to pray with me, and it really, really helped me turn the corner. And so that's been kind of cool too, as a side mark. On another note, just because I was thinking about it, for those of you that watch Hancock, the movie Hancock with Will Smith, where he was a superhero, I found myself at only a couple times in my life where I was extremely angry with the world because of the pain and people screwing me over. And I went down and I was working out on my elliptical, and I'd already seen the show once and I was watching it a second time. And in the end of it, he's having a conversation with Charlize Theron, his sister. He was good during the movie, for those of you that didn't know, as a superhero. Then he felt frustrated, non-appreciated, all that for a major part. Then in the end, he just couldn't help himself. He wanted to be good again. And in the end, his sister says, "You were born to make a difference in people's lives." And I know that I fell off my elliptical crying and knowing I'm not a guy, even with my enemies, that want anything bad to happen with anyone. And I figured that out early. So that may not have been part of the family section, but
never better. But Mr. Philip Jones, please come on the camera. Thank you, Lily. Philip Jones, go ahead. Have at it.
Well, I don't have a question, but I just, kind of want to say thank you for opening yourself up to inspire other people. I know many of us that are on here today have told our story at least one time in our life. And I think to see how you just presented yourself and told your story makes us reevaluate how we tell our story as well. Because like I said, most of us here are transplant patients. Lily is an honorary transplant patient. That's family. So you know, for me, like I just told my story on Monday, and I think about how I told it and how you told it, and it makes me kind of reevaluate that and represent it the next time I'm able to tell my story, because it's a lot of things that I keep out of my story, just so I don't, you know, get people crying and doing these other things. And so and honestly, it's to keep myself from crying. Honestly, I just
Well, you don't have
um
to do that. Sometimes crying is the best thing because it allows people to see your vulnerability and they believe what you're saying is even more truthful. Because if it naturally happens, it's pain. You're sharing it. You're being real with people. And most of the reason I'm able to connect with people so fast is because I won't stop for a second if I feel emotional and I need to cry. It's okay. As men, we're taught it's not. It's very okay to do that. And given what you've already been through in life, it's all right once in a while to let her rip, because then people know the real you. And the tears aren't always because you're somebody being sad. It's because you're so thankful for your life and where you are.
definitely, I appreciate that 100%.
Thank you, Philip. And yeah, like I said, we're
Philip's
transportation.
my middle name too. It is. It's Shawn Philip Cunix.
Really.
Yes.
That's awesome, man. And thank you, Philip. Philip from Los Angeles. And like I said, we've all just your transparency. It still never seems to amazes me. I still watch your interviews from time to time for inspiration. And yeah, it's like, even though I know you, like I said, you still inspire me. And like I said, we definitely gonna do a part 2. Anthony and Nathan is in Ohio, so maybe we do it at Toy Barn in the backdrop.
That's fine. I would go out of my way for it. You've inspired me. You've actually made me emotional tonight. So I like that.
Awesome. And last question before I close out is, why are you, what sparked someone to achieve such high achievements? Why is giving back important to you, and why should others, as my quote, my signature quote, dream, believe, persevere, then give back? Why is it important to give back once you do reach whatever top that you're striving to, or whatever level, or just give back along the way? You don't got to reach a top.
Yes.
But why is it giving back important?
Well, if you ask this to 100 people, you would get a lot of different answers. For me, I found God at an early age. And I know there's no way I would have survived many of the challenges and obstacles without him. And I know I need to give back because I was very fortunate. And that's what God would ask of me to do. And so that's one part of it. The second part is I did not get to see that much happiness in my life growing up. I don't want to discredit my family, but it just wasn't the environment for that very often. And that's where the inspire. I wanted so badly to see people happy. That's what drove me to that. And so I get a high off of making a difference in people's lives. And I got a lot of passion for it.
Well, you're amazing at it. Like I said, you definitely made a difference in my life and so many others. Like I said, looking at the website, looking at the Inspire Happiness websites, and seeing how all the different charities that you served on, and definitely just taking a young kid like myself and be it 15 years later, be able to have you on this podcast from when I met you is just truly amazing. And just lead an audience with just some words of wisdom. Just whatever you want to say to the audience, just leave it. That kid who may be in Los Angeles Children's Hospital, or maybe in Seattle, seeing seeing their brother laying up in a coffin, or in jail in Ohio, or in
Yes.
What would you say to that youth who feel like they're hopeless, like they can't, success can't happen to me?
Well, naturally, I have to say it's important to have faith. If you're not going to call him God, but something else, that's okay too. But having faith is important, because if you think that there's nothing more after this, it's very hard to find happiness. And that's the easiest way I could talk about religion. I would also say, and too many people do it, whatever happened a second ago cannot be changed. Only thing you can change right now is your attitude, what you think, and every move you make from this point forward, even if you made a million mistakes. And if you ask God for forgiveness, you'll get it. You're forgiven a million times over. You get to start right now, no matter what you've done. And make sure that you live the life that you're telling others to live. That would be a good start.
There you have it. Your why not words of wisdom. Thank you so much, Mr. Shawn Cunix. I'm just sort of soaking in what you just said, so sorry. I'm just soaking it in because yeah. As a man of faith, I know I'm nothing without God. So about the man above. So thank you so much for being so transparent about that and so transparent about your story and explaining to us what Richard Miller was and all and so on and so forth. And we definitely look forward to doing a part 2 in person. So we just want to ask all of our audience. We hope that are you not entertained? Were you not entertained rather? So thank you so much, Shawn. Please go follow us at Why Not Connect audience, at Why Not Connect on all social media platforms. You can go view it at our Why Not Impact Lives network and also visit our website at www.whynot.org. So lastly, we ask everyone, why not become a registered organ and tissue donor today? Let everyone say,
Why not?
Thank you. Take it over, Lily. Thank you, Shawn. Appreciate you, buddy.
Yep.
Close it out. We'll play a quick 2 seconds of this. Great show. You got so many notes.
I am the Blacksmith Cop, and I'm here with my man Eddie Drake of the Why Not Foundation. And we just want to talk to you.
Somebody's sister, a brother, father, a mother, a wife, or a husband, a nephew, a cousin. They're looking for a little bit of love, hey. Somebody show them some love, hey.
Why not? See you next show. We out.